very rare people that they live in the mountains, and the scientific side of it is that they inbred so much that their feet have 2 toes, like lobster claws.
Alexa, how many UFOs are above Pennsylvania right now?
From PennLive.com. According to Stacker, Pennsylvania has recorded a total number of 3,517 UFOs flying somewhere over the Keystone State.
Yo, welcome back to the channel, gang. In today's video, we'll look at some creepy and interesting TikToks that'll make you question everything. And before we dive in, hit the sub button. Now let's go.
Please keep what I tell you secret.
Promises of grand riches, enlightenment, and fame.
Basically, it's this secret society.
The world's most famous and powerful.
These include renowned actors and musicians.
With their eye on this 20-year-old aspiring actress from Oklahoma.
I was excited. I thought it was gonna be like a manager or a casting director reaching out to me.
But this would be no big break for Brandy. More like smoke and mirrors. Is it free?
No, not one bit.
The 12-page recruitment letter arrives at random by snail mail and goes on.
Fame, fortune,
and on.
The world's most famous and powerful people.
And on.
By the way, as you read this, you may be saying to yourself that this is all a bunch of hooning.
The sender even swears on the Bible they will deliver the greatest secrets free of charge. The only real secret, though, is what happens when you return the enclosed membership certificate with your signature on it.
That's typically how it is. Like, famous artists get so excited until they read that fine print, but any contract that comes in swearing on the Bible, that's red flag number 1.
Alexa, what is currently flying above Pennsylvania right now?
From TribeLive.com. The skies of Pennsylvania appear to be packed with unidentified flying objects, UFOs.
Alexa, how many UFOs are above Pennsylvania right now?
From PennLive.com. According to Stacker, Pennsylvania has recorded a total number of 3,517 UFOs flying somewhere over the Keystone State.
3,000 plus UFOs is a lot, but I bet that wasn't aired on Pennsylvania's news stations.
What type of demonic shit is Ronald? What didn't happen? Oh my God.
It looks like Ronald got the tail end of a bad deal.
All right, I am in Chicago. Today I will put the date, but look at this cloud. Am I tripping? It's a pretty perfect circle. How the heck does that actually happen? I am all the way zoomed out, so that's pretty big. What is going on here?
If someone told me this was due to a cloaked UFO spacecraft, that wouldn't be far-fetched.
Okay, so what we have here is June the 14th of 2025. And I guess earlier today, around about 1 p.m., it was like this huge lightning that had happened. And over 50 birds fell out the sky. They all in people's yards. They on top of the houses, as you can see in the videos. And we just trying to figure out like what could have really caused pelicans, which usually be around water, to fall out the sky in a neighborhood that's nowhere near water. So if anyone have any ideas of where to make these birds fall out the sky like this, please comment below, because I did Google and I did see that this happened all the time due to lightning. And I just need someone to explain this to me. And no, this is not my house. It's not my neighborhood. It was on someone live that lived locally in Mobile, Alabama. So comment below.
Okay, we've heard this on TikTok. If you pour Coke on your pork, that parasites will come out. Oh my God, we are never eating pork again.
They infected a city without telling them. No warning, no consent, just a classified test on unsuspecting civilian. In 1955, the U.S. Army sprayed bacteria over the city of Savannah, Georgia, on purpose. The operation was part of Project 112, a Cold War-era biowarfare testing program. The Army released the cloud of bacteria from ships off the coast, believing it could simulate anthrax. Over the next week, the bacteria drifted into Savannah. Thousands of residents breathed it in. Children, elderly, pregnant women, none of them were told. The Army watched from a distance, collecting data on how far the bacteria spread. They called it an experiment in urban vulnerability. Internal documents showed that they knew the bacteria could cause infections in people with weak immune systems, yet called it harmless. It led to spikes in respiratory infections, a noticeable uptick in coughing, fatigue, and unexplained illnesses, especially among children and seniors. The long-term cancer implications remain unstudied because they're impossible to track. And it wasn't just Savannah. Similar tests happened in Minneapolis, St. Louis, San Francisco, New York. When the information came to light decades later, the government gave no apology, they offered no compensation. Most Americans still don't know it happened.
To conduct an experiment at the detriment of innocent civilians is diabolical.
Of the types that we've heard of. You've heard of the Greys and the Nordics and the tall whites and all these different. Which one, and this is just hypothetical, but which one is most interesting to you?
The mantises, the mantids. Part of that is personal, and part of it is sort of UFO related in that it always seems like the mantises are in charge. The people who have these experiences who are taken on board ships. It's maybe the little Greys that are the functionaries doing the experiments, the anal probes, all that stuff. But it's the mantises that seem to be calling the shots. So I'm very interested in them. And
there's a really famous mystery called the Dyatlov Pass. It's about these 9 really experienced hikers in the 50s. They set off on this journey and they reached the first checkpoint, but they didn't make it to the second checkpoint. And there was a big search that goes out to make sure they're okay. The Army gets involved and they go and follow the route to find the hikers. And they come across these prints in the snow that led down the mountain. And some of the prints were bare feet, some had 1 shoe and 1 barefoot. And it's all 9 of the hikers, and they find 3 of the hikers, and they're all deceased. And there's one who's naked. There's one who's up in one of the trees, and there's these deep gouges on the tree as if some animal had been scratching at this tree. There's more footprints that lead away from those 3, and the footprints lead where the other 6 hikers were, and they're all deceased as well. And the women were wearing men's clothing and vice versa. Some of their clothes had trace levels of radiation, and some of them had parts of their face removed, it looked like. Lips, nose, ears. It almost looked like surgical precision removal. There was a person in there who their chest had basically been caved in, but there's no sign of anything that could have done this damage. And suddenly the Soviet government says, we're going to shut this investigation down. All we know is that the 9 hikers who died from an unknown, unnatural force. Sealed.
I'm still stuck on the part where the clothes are swapped. Whatever they ran into in the mountains had a strange fetish.
That moment, I thought, everything's peaceful now. Like, I'm with God. Like, I'm chill. I was going bold. Media's hating, whatever. And then October 2021, I get offered a multi-million-dollar deal from a label. And they said, we're going to make you the male Adele. You can't say God. You can't say Jesus. You can't talk about Trump. You can't post. We're going to take over your social media. We're going to write 2 albums for you. It's going to be a 3-year contract. And I was going to do it. And I was like, okay, this is from God. I'm like, yeah, I'm good now. Like, God's blessing me. Yay. Like, and I'm sitting with my friend and he said, if you sign that, you're selling your soul. And I said, why? I'm not doing rituals anymore. And he was like a heavy Christian. And I was just learning about like Jesus. So I didn't know much about, anything yet. But he said, what profits a man to gain the world and lose his soul? You're willing to take that money and not talk about anything you experienced and just basically shut up. This is a silencing contract. This isn't a record deal.
It's a censorship contract.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how a contract that prevents you from talking about Jesus is a gift from God. The math is not mathing.
His phone allows you to see into parallel dimensions.
Watch this, y'all.
Well, hello, buddy.
That phone is showing something entirely else.
Trip. We're on our way to the ice house on Logjam Lake, picking up a fried chicken
Stay weird,
supper
y'all.
with a cold pop
Heard some weird stuff on our show. People say will shapeshift. Yes, the yellow snake eyes with the vertical slits. Really? Yes, I've seen that many times. That's not uncommon.
So their eyes have physically changed to like a reptilian?
Oh yeah, they slither on the floor like a snake. Their body's moving like a snake. It's not just somebody like rolling around. They can defy the natural law, climbing a 20-foot wall like a squirrel.
I mean, how often does this happen?
Well, I've only seen that once, but they have that power. That didn't change when they rebelled. Their interior motivation changed, that now they hate God and they want to wreak havoc on his children, which is us.
The Trump Organization just announced its newest product, which is a phone. It's called the T1 phone by Trump Mobile. The phone and plan were announced on the 10-year anniversary of when President Trump first announced his bid for presidency in 2015. And the plan is called the 47 plan because Trump is ranked as the 47th president of the United States. The price of the plan is also reflective of his terms. It is $47.45 a month, and the cost of the phone is $499. You need a $100 down payment, but there's no contract and you don't need a credit check to get the plan. The president's son, Eric Trump, who is the executive vice president of the Trump Organization, said the phone will be made in the U.S., which reflects his dad's plan to bring back more American manufacturing and employment. During this push for more manufacturing in the U.S., companies like Apple have faced a lot of pressure to move some of their manufacturing to the States because Trump has been threatening tariffs if they don't. However, if Apple did make its phones in the U.S., the price would go from around $1,000 to about $3,500 because it costs more to make them here.
A phone plan that costs $47 a month with no contract sounds pretty attractive.
Unitree, a Chinese robotics company and a rival to Boston Dynamics, is showing off some seriously cool robots. The G1 humanoid and the Go-To robot dog. The Go-To, which looks like Boston Dynamics Spot, can navigate tough terrain, do handstands, and more, all for just $1,600. Meanwhile, the G1 humanoid is priced at $16,000 and could shake hands, wave, and even help with cleaning and making breakfast. Would you invite one of these robots into your home?
You believe lotion's a scam.
Lotion's a huge scam. It's like 1% lotion, 2% lotion, and then just tons of ingredients, chemicals, and stuff that I think is intentionally designed for that. It's like one business gives access to another business, and it's kind of like everybody grabs your money. So it's kind of like the dentist, the makeup industry. There's a correlation between the makeup industry and the sunglass industry and the sun, and it being bad for you, and be careful. Lotions are botted, perfumes, colognes are botted, fragrances are botted, like sunscreen is botted. Sometimes I don't know if I should stop and tell people like, bro, you shouldn't be wearing sunscreen. Like that sunscreen is bad for you, or just to.
I've always been skeptical about sunscreens.
Cinemas or movie theaters are all sacred, geometrically set up to harvest energy from the people. So when you have a horror movie or some of the extreme nasty movies that have been coming out over the last like 15-20 years, the people in there, when people shock like that, the movie theaters are set up perfectly sacred geometrically to then harvest the energy straight from the people in there, in the same principle as any mass gathering.
How does one get possessed?
Yes.
Oh yeah, the two biggest ways are dabbling in the occult.
What does that mean?
Playing with demonic things, Ouija boards, going to a psychic, tarot cards, or actual occult worship of the devil. Those are pretty much immediate open doors that you're gonna have demons come right in.
Psychics are demonic.
They're not channeling your dead relatives. Well, the psychic told me my mother shared this with me when I was 10, and nobody ever knew that but us. So it has to be my mom, except for the demons in the room, who also heard it. And now they're impersonating your mother.
Wow.
They can put up a good show. They can also place thoughts in our minds, and they can manipulate our emotions. And when you have that trifecta, the person is 100% believes it's their mother.
The crazy thing is, people think they talk to their parents and their relatives whenever they go to psychics. To me, that's like highway robbery.
Ostrich-footed tribe, or the Vadoma, that's in northern Zimbabwe. Very rare people that they live in the mountains, and the scientific side of it is that they inbred so much that their feet have 2 toes, like lobster claws. Their story is that their great-great-great-grandmother came down from the sky. She was a bird, or maybe he was a bird, and he impregnated a local person, and now they have bird feet, ostrich feet.
That's pretty rough.
It is scientifically true that every cell in your body right now emits a measurable frequency. Like, that's real. Your heart, it has an electromagnetic field. Your brain pulses with actual waves. The point is, vibrations are real and they're not demonic. The thing that's demonic is that, like everything else, the devil has taken this foundational truth of vibrations and creation and frequency and the function of our human body in its biological God-given design and has twisted that into the system of works-based spirituality, right? It's another counterfeit because God creates through vibration. So now the devil's like, well, you can do that too. Oh, you can balance this energy. You can unlock this vibration. You can just meditate your way into wholeness by aligning your vibes and your frequency. And like, it becomes like a performance-based attempt through witchcraft to access peace without the Prince of Peace. Do you see how that works? The body gates that we're talking about, they're not only biblically significant, they're not only physically significant, they're vibrationally responsive. They carry real electromagnetic activity. They carry very real nerve clusters, very real hormonal glands, very real sensory processing. Okay, that's just fact. So these body gates are spiritually and scientifically charged, and that is why Satan has overlaid the chakra system onto them. He builds a counterfeit template on top of our real God-given blueprint. It's the manipulation of the vibrations through chakra work, like the sound bowls and the chanting and the Reiki and the crystal magic, all that jazz, right? That is an illegal use of the spiritual architecture that God created. This is the problem.
Y'all, I see why they told these people to stay inside this weekend. Did you guys know that you can get sunburned from your eyes? Check this out, y'all.
Hey, your eyes have...
So I guess people out partying a little too hard this weekend. And I guess a lot of people found out what the UV index is really about.
This is your daily reminder to wear your sunglasses, because it can get sunburned, your eyes.
Guys, your eyes can get sunburned. Look at them. Look at my eyes. So, lesson learned. You put the SPF on your eyes.
He's talking about put the SPF on the eyes, man. I've never heard of this. The first time I'm ever hearing about your eyes getting sunburned. Apparently it's called photokeratitis. Look at that. Oh my goodness, y'all, look at this.
Nobody told me that you can sunburn your eyelids. Yeah, so I sunburned them. They look worse in person. It looks like I have a fresh set of nice makeup on, I guess. The rest of my face isn't sunburnt.
I sunburned my eyeballs yesterday, and I thought I could wear this one's under these ones, but I can't. These ones are a bit too light and they don't cover the sun. These do, but I don't know if these are UV protected, so I had to go and buy some new glasses.
She had to get the Willy Wonkas, y'all. Dang, she had to get the Willy Wonkas. Do you think that's the reason why that glasses was prominent in the Willy Wonka show, promoting children primarily, like it's subconscious programming? You never know.
Yeah, being sunburned sucks, but at least I get a tan. But the shower after the sunburn?
ChatGPT literally suggests that y'all stay out of the sun from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So this is now a sun-up town. Yes, this is now a sun-up town, boy. This is crazy, y'all. Wow, what an interesting time that we live in, y'all. Sunburn in your eyes. But what do you guys think about this, y'all? Let me know down in the comments below. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. The shift is here, like we said. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Did you know you can get sunburn on your eyeball? The condition is called photokeratitis, and it's essentially sunburn of your cornea. So if you get redness, blurriness, tearing, photosensitivity, that can mean you've been exposed too much to the sun. Often it comes on 6 to 12 hours later, so you won't notice straight away. The bad news is it's tremendously painful. The good news is it's usually temporary and resolves within several hours to 1 or 2 days. So whenever you're going out in the sun, make sure to wear those UV blocking sunglasses.
I never knew our eyes could catch a tan in session, but staying out of the sun from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., that's practically the whole day.
What the hell in the Chernobyl is going on in Ohio, y'all? over 5,000 gallons of toxic nitric acid just spilled at the Austin powder plant in Zaleski, Ohio, y'all. And they telling everybody to evacuate, get up out of there. So if you around that spot, if you in 30 miles of that area, they telling you gotta get the hell up out of there. I'm hearing right now, they're already bringing the hazmat people. They are bringing Red Cross. They are bringing hella emergency people on the scene right now. They said this leak is so dangerous that the FAA is locking down a 30-mile radius no-fly zone up to 20,000 feet. Now, what I'm trying to figure out is, how the hell did this happen? Somebody explain to me. At this point, y'all, this is not no little spill. This is a catastrophe, if you ask me. Look at that shit. Somebody let me know, is this another East Palestine situation? I need y'all thoughts down below on this. Let me know.
Ohio can't catch a break with those chemical spills.
You are known for many things. One is about the Akashic records, the Akashic field. And I would love for us to be able to focus on that.
The Akashic field is the universe. It's how the universe appears to us. When we inquire how things are connected, how things are conserved, we find the answer today through the quantum sciences. All things are connected to all other things, and nothing disappears completely without a trace. So the universe is an Akashic field. The ancients called it an Akashic field. Today we can call it the universe as it appears in the quantum sciences. It's an Akashic universe, you might say. And therefore I have felt that what I've been considering, what I've been discussing so many times, so many years, is being carried out, borne out more and more in the new sciences, especially in quantum cosmology, in quantum consciousness research. This is a remarkable Akashic kind of a universe. 4,000, 5,000 years ago, we would have called it the Akashic dimension. Today, we call it reality, but this is what it is.
Where did the word Akashic come from?
The Akasha was the dimension the Hindu seers, about 4,500, 5,000 years ago, talked about. They said there are the four regular dimensions, air, water, fire, and earth, and they called this the standard dimension, but they said there is a higher or deeper dimension, if you like, which includes all the others. This is beyond all the others. It includes all the others. It's the deep dimension. Later on, Plato himself talked about this as a Platonic dimension of the soul, of our consciousness, our mind. But the Akashic dimension, Akasha dimension, dates back probably nearly 5,000 years.
Irvin, you were nominated for a Nobel Prize at least twice, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, what were you nominated for?
Well, my work in trying to understand the relationships that make our world what it is, the systems, a world system where all things are interacting and dependent on all other things, not just the economy, but also the ecology, the culture, as well as the finance. And this is a systemic universe. I developed the idea of a universe which is based on the strong interconnections. This is an Akashic universe in a way. And out of this modeling, if you like, of the world that we have created on Earth, came a series of forecasts and expectations, previsions as to how we could be evolving, how we could be developing. My main focus always has been on development, on evolution, not just economic, material development, but the development of culture, of thought, of spirit as well. And so because I'm trying to pull all these things together, it doesn't fit into any one discipline. The Nobel Prizes are set up by discipline, to the physics and biology and other special disciplines. At the time of Nobel, there was no idea that we could have a super discipline, a kind of which encompasses the others, brings it together. So this one, then, I was nominated then for the Peace Prize, because this idea of an interconnected universe of which we are a part, where we evolve together with other things, is a universe of understanding, coherence, and ultimately, therefore, peace. So indirectly, without addressing my work to peace so specifically, I created a foundation for understanding the world as a domain of coherence where we can live and evolve in peace.
That is, your goal is for our world to live in peace. I'm wondering, when it comes to the Akashic field, to the universe, that somebody might feel as though it's so huge, it's so gargantuan. Why would it be important for them to understand the interconnectedness of the universe?
Because we are interconnected. The universe is a hologram. And in a hologram, all the information that generates the picture is present in every part. The universe may be gargantuan, but it's in us. Not only are we in the universe is in us. Because everything that makes the universe what it is, today we would call it all the information, all the energy flows, is actually reflected in every cell of our body, in every atom, in every cell. So this is not a materialistic, cold, independent universe where all parts are separate. Nothing is separate. We are part of that whole universe. If we want to understand ourselves, we have to understand the universe. And we can't understand the universe until we have a better understanding of ourselves.
We all have soul contracts. We have soul contracts, we have oversoul contracts, we have avatar contracts, we have rishi contracts, and we have ascended master contracts. Everybody has them. And some of them are good, where they're Christos. Others are ones we got ourselves into during this messy history that we've had just to keep ourselves alive on planet to help keep the gene code alive. And they're the ones that we're at the point where where everybody has a choice. If we have contracts that are encoded in their DNA as well, that were with some of the fallen angelic matrices, that were made under times of duress, when it was either, make them, or literally a whole collective is going to go down with you. Many of the guardians had, both the Iani groups, the indigos, and the humans made these kind of deals. At this point, this is the time when the information's being brought back, where we're being offered a free will choice. We can choose which path we want to be on, and if we have any soul contracts from the other sides, we relinquish them. We literally say, I stand against this now. I do not want to fill this contract, and I will no longer. And you do it with the Song of Lyra. All right? Now, the Song of Lyra just activates that frequency. But when you put an intention behind that, like, I no longer want this soul contract or any implants or anything in my DNA that has to do with it, if it's a negative one, and you make that command, you command that intention, and then run your Song of Lyra, your D12 frequency, get yourself with a burst of your D12 in the body, it will start to literally break the connections to whatever matrix has a connection to you. Any moment, once you become aware of one, renegotiate it. If you're working a Christos template, it's not like you're signed, sealed, delivered, you've got to do that even if you don't want to anymore. It works the other way with the Anunnaki and Draconian spiritual teachings. If you've got a contract, they're going to hold you to it whether you want to be in it or not. And you were probably tricked into it in the first place. So soul contract stuff, that's very real, and we all have it. But the thing is, our soul contracts are stored right in our DNA. All right? They're literally in our templates. They're in our Cathara grids. So as we begin to activate our own systems, run more Maharata frequency, we'll progressively be bringing that knowledge more and more to our awareness. We'll start to get memory with it in pieces, and it comes in pieces at first. It doesn't always come in movies. It takes a while to sequence those codes to get the linear format. But you will open your own soul contracts. You don't need somebody to give them to you. But what can help is have somebody transmit frequency that knows exactly which parts of your template are holding the information that you most need to know right now, and they can help you by transmitting that. The Iani will do that. They've done that with me since I was small.
She spoke about this with such excitement and confidence, like she was delivering the ultimate sales pitch. But that's it for the video. Like always, thanks for kicking in with me. But before you leave, hit the like button and sub up, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.